All right, moving forward here, which expression is equivalent to 48x squared plus 144x plus 528? All right, so this one is definitely fun, but for the wrong reason. And when we take a look at this, there are plenty of people that, once you actually see the answer, it's very easy to think, oh, yeah, if I would have just known that this was the factor, then I would have been good. And that's not really how it's going to work, everybody. What we want to do here is we want to show what we can do when it's not obvious from the jump. So let me first start off by writing out 48x squared plus 144x plus 528. Let me just write that out again. And so here's what I'm going to do. I have three numbers here, and that's going to make this a little tough. What makes this problem a little bit easier is that when we take a look, well, we see that we just have 48 and 720. And everybody, these might be factors that we can pull out, but those aren't going to be the answers. These are just distractors. We're really just vying between B and D. And so, thankfully, what we can deduce here is that what we're deciding is 48 the greatest common factor, or is 24 going to be the greatest common factor? That's really the debate. So let's figure out which one it is. I can guarantee you, everybody, that 24 is going to be the minimum. But let's figure out if we can actually get 48. And you know how I know this? Everybody, guess what? Is 24 a factor of 48? You tell me. Is 24 a factor of 48? Oh yeah, it is. It is. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just start off by taking 24 out of each of these. Let's figure out what happens if I divide out a 24 from each. Let's see if there's more that I can take out. Let's see what happens. So first off, everybody, 48 divided by 24, we already said that. That's going to be 2. So if we did that, that'd be 2x squared. Then let's check out the 144 divided by 24. Let's see if that's actually going to be whatever it might be. Let's see here, everybody. 24, give me a number to guess with. 4, 5, 6. I'm taking a look at the answer choices, and I see 6 right there. So I think it might be 6. Let's go ahead and try out 6. 6 times 4, that's going to be 24. Carry the 2. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 2 is 14. So yeah, okay, it's going to be 6. So we have plus 6x. And then here's the big one, 528 divided by 24. All right, let's see. Everybody, the problem here, D says that it's going to be 23. Let's go ahead and check that out. Let's see if that's actually going to be true. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do 24 times 23. Everybody, what's 4 times 3 going to be? Yeah, 4 times 3 is 12, and that ends in a 2. That ends in a 2. Everybody, 528 ends in an 8, not a 2. So I don't think 23 is going to be it, but let's prove it. Let's just prove it. So here we have 2 times 3, that'll be 6. Carry that 1, and that'll be 7. Then we'll bring a 0 down. 4 times 2, 2 times 2. Add that back up, and let's see, we have 2. 7 plus 8 is 15. 1 plus 4 is 5. Everybody, is D the answer? Is D the answer? No, D is not the answer. So thankfully, we don't have to do any more work than that. We don't. We really just used a little guess and check system where we just said, hey, look, I don't have that much time. And it really is looking like, hey, is this one it or is this one it? Is 24 times 23 528 or 48 times 11 528? Well, by process of elimination, I just figured out that it's not D. So I think we can safely say that the answer is B. All right, so let's keep the party going. We have which expression is equivalent to this x minus 14 multiplied by x minus 2. So when I take a look at this problem, everybody, one of the first things that I'm going to do is, well, I know what I have to do. It's distribute. So a 2 by 2, you might think of FOIL or just making sure everything from one parentheses multiplies with everything from the other. But I'm taking a look at this and I notice that my answer choices are pretty much all the same. I'm taking a look and the main difference seems to be that middle term. I see that we have x squared all up front. We have 28 all at the end, with one of them being negative. But it really looks like the big differentiator is right here in the middle. So that's going to make me pay real close attention to getting that middle term, which is going to be those two middle pieces of the distribution. Let me show you what that looks like. We have x minus 14, and then we have x minus 2. So remember, everybody, we're going to make sure everything from one part distributes to everything from the other. X times x, that's x squared in the front. Then we have x multiplied by negative 2, and that'll be negative 2 times x. Then we have negative 14 times x, so negative 14x. And then lastly, we have negative 14 times negative 2. Everyone, what's a negative multiplied by a negative? Yeah, multiply a negative times a negative, that's going to end up being a positive. And then 14 times 2, that's going to be 28. So boom, at the end here, plus 28. It would have been so great if that was a negative 28, because this would have been the only answer with it. But instead, we're just going to say that D is not the answer. So now from here, we take a look and remind ourselves, we have the x squared, we have the 28, we got to figure out how to combine these two like terms. And so everybody, we have to know how to work with negatives. If we're already negative 2 and we go back another 14, where do we end up? That's like saying, hey, take 2 steps back, then another 14 back. That's a total spacing of negative 16. Yeah. That's x squared minus 16x plus 28. So right here, that's that big step. Knowing how to add, subtract, and multiply between negatives, that is going to come in handy here. The correct answer here is answer choice C. X squared minus 16x plus 28. So here we are with the next question. We have simplify the following expression and find the coefficient of x squared. Okay, sounds good. So what this means here, everybody, is simplify. So, open any or break down any parentheses, combine any like terms. And then at the end of the day, we're focusing specifically, pay attention, on the x squared. So luckily for us, we're only dealing with x squared. So all we really need to do here is just combine these terms. So if you are not a fan of working with negative numbers, this is where this problem comes, just a little harder than typically, because if you're already at negative 14, everybody, let me just use a little number line here. Let's say this is 0, this is negative 5, negative 10, and let's say this is negative 14. If we're already at negative 14, everybody, and we're subtracting 5, which direction are we going from here? More negative or towards the positive? Which way are we going? More negative or towards the positive direction? Yeah, we're getting more negative. So if we're already negative by 14, going back another 5, that's going to land us at negative 19. Negative 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is that negative 5 right there. So boom. Remember, everybody, if you're struggling with negative values, work on it, because they're not going to go away. And getting a problem like this correct, that's easy money, right? And we want it to feel that way, not just with this one, but with the tougher ones as well. So there we go. This one, the correct answer is answer choice A, negative 19.